MLM Nation, episode 664.
Welcome to MLM Nation, a podcast of leaders, by leaders, for leaders, hosted by Simon Chan. He's built a team of over 200,000 and is now a full-time MLM coach and trainer. So if you're ready to level up your business, join us now. Let's do this.
Hey, MLM Nation, Simon Chan, and thanks for the feedback. I know you are loving these MLM Nation archive replays. Kind of turn back the clock. And we're going to do another one. Okay, another one. This goes back to episode 200. And if you don't know why I'm talking about MLM Nation archives, a lot of you weren't aware of this until I brought it up like 2 episodes ago, that we've had so many podcasts. We have over 600. What episode is this right now? Actually, it's going to be 664. That because the way the podcasting, the serving, all that stuff, the technical stuff, don't ask me how, why, but definitely for Apple Podcasts, after 300 episodes, reach a certain limit, you can't have, somehow they make you open up another podcast, okay? I guess that's the drawback of being consistent, being all over for six and a half years now. So if you look at the MLM Nation, you're listening to this, you're on the newest podcast. For all the old ones, we did all the way back to episode number 1, when I interviewed Danny Johnson, to episode 300. They're in a separate podcast called MLM Nation Archives. So definitely check that out. And while you do that, I want to bring up I was just talking to one of my coaching clients the other day, and also someone else, one of my accountability partners. It's like sometimes we don't need to necessarily learn all the new stuff. We actually need to be reminded more than make sure we take action on than the stuff that we keep on learning new, not taking action on. And that made me brought back thinking about the old episodes we had. There's so much gold out there that I want to bring back some of the great nuggets, one of the best episodes. And today, I know last episode, 2 episodes ago, we brought back, Jordan Adler. That was a very memorable episode. And today I want to bring back Tom Chanel. Thomas Chanel is a good friend of mine, amazing networker. And we actually had him twice on the show. Since we first interviewed him, I'll tell you, that first interview took me a long time to get, over a year to get it. I think that's why I remembered it. I first met him at ANNP in 2015. Immediately hit him up, say, I would love to have you on the show. I sat next to him in the back part of the room. He came in a little later. I came in a little later, and I introduced myself. I just went up there and introduced myself. He was the coolest guy. He said, sure, no problem, Simon. Gave me his number, and then I followed up with him, and then nothing. Followed up with him, said, sure, one day. And it took me over a year follow-up until finally, we're approaching episode 200. And hey, Tom, you got to give me some type of reward for following up. Episode 200 is a special episode. I'd love to have you on there. And he agreed to do it. And I still remember that morning. It was one of the best shows I've done. Tom talked about his routines. Again, I'm not going to give away too much of the show, but great nuggets of wisdom there. Very inspiring too, about his transformation and story. And this episode was done all the way back in 2016, 5 years ago. Now, since then, Tom and his son, Adrian Chanel, has done amazing things, exciting things. Worked on contact mapping. Actually, we had him back on the show in 581, if you want to check that out. But for today, I want to take you back to the old school, back in 2016, episode 200. It took me a year of follow-up to get Tom on. It was so worth it. So anyway, go check it out. And if you haven't also subscribed to the MLM Nation Archive podcast, go check that out. You can see the first 300 episodes. There's a lot of nuggets of wisdom as well. So anyway, with that said, let's go back. Let's go take you back in time to episode 200. And this is entirely in this unedited form. Let's go right to it. MLM Nation, this is episode 200. Woo-hoo! 200. Can you believe it's 200? It is awesome. We're better and stronger than ever. It just seems like last week I did episode 100 of Armin Pujol. And by the way, if you never listened to that episode, definitely listen to that. There's a reason that was in episode 100. Really good episode from Armin. And for episode 200, we got a real treat here. This guy took me over 18 months of follow-up to get him on here. He's not just only a top income earner, but he has given so much back to the MLM profession, also the community where he lives. So stay tuned. I'll let you know who it is in a second.
The fundamentals are what win the day for the average man, and we are building this business for the average man.
If you want to be successful, you just have to copy what MLM leaders do. Welcome to MLM Nation, presented by your host, Simon Chan. where you'll learn strategies, secrets, and inspiring stories from today's top MLM income earners.
Hey, are you driven by purpose or just by money? Is network marketing all about the fancy cars, mansions, or the quote-unquote lifestyle, or there more to it? Now, if you're driven by purpose, go check out this new group called Purpose Driven Networkers. Not only do we have a higher calling, but we also have a 5-step system that we use to help get your next customer or rep immediately. Go check it out at purposedrivennetworkers.com. MLM Nation, this is Simon Chan, and for this episode 200, we got a super special guest, someone who's given so much back to the community. I am fired up to bring our special guest today, Tom Chenault. Tom, are you ready to make it happen?
I am so excited. I can't even believe it, Simon. Thank you so much for letting me be on your great show.
Tom Chenault is not just one of the top income earners in his company, but he's had over 20 years of experience in the network marketing profession and also given so much back to the community. You know, one of the reasons I love MLM and one of my beliefs is it allows us to give back more, and Tom definitely is a perfect example of what a giver is. Tom is one of the founders of ANMP, the Association of Network Marketing Professionals, which I highly recommend everyone should check out. I'll put the link on the show notes. Tom has also been voted as one of the top 25 networkers in the world and also won Trainer of the Year award by Business for Home. Tom also has the longest-running home business radio show called The Tom Chenault Show. One of Tom's proudest achievements is being sober for over 25 years, and maybe we'll have him share a little bit about that on the show. His admirers describe Tom as caring, compassionate, and selfless. Whether it's helping the homeless, helping his downlines, helping people in network marketing, or students from the local high school, or just contributing to the MLM profession, Tom is always giving back. So Tom, I've just given MLM Nation just a brief intro, but please share more about your background and how you came across network marketing.
You know, I came in network marketing the hard way. I was a very successful stockbroker in the 80s, and I found myself with 2 DUIs, which is driving under the influence, and 2 disturbing the pieces in 1 month. And that just equaled the fact that in 1988, I was a terrible alcoholic, even though I was a very successful stockbroker. And so I quit drinking. And my sponsor in Alcoholics Anonymous said, Tom, if you want to stay sober, you've got to stop doing what got you drunk in the first place. And so I quit my job. And I still don't know to this day if he really meant I should quit my job or just quit drinking, but I quit my job. And then I found myself unemployable, Simon. And that was crazy because I thought people would be clamoring to hire me. But I weighed 400 pounds. I was purple. And I was a mess trying to get sober. I was arrogant and lots of bad stuff. And I happened upon an ad in the paper. And the ad said, unlimited income opportunity. That appealed to me. It said no credit check, no background check. Those 2 really appealed to me. And I said, I can do this. And I walked into multi-level marketing that day. And I've never looked back. And basically what I just did was failed forward, Simon.
Now, I know I've read in the past you said back in your stockbroking days, whether you're going to be a Martian or a network marketer, you said the chances are higher that you'll be a Martian than a network marketer. So what happened at that meeting that really totally changed your perspective about the profession?
I had nowhere else to go. I had nothing happened at the meeting. I went into this business kicking and screaming. And when I got into it, it was worse because I thought I was so much above it and so much better than this profession. So I was my own worst enemies through my first year, maybe 3 years in network marketing. And finally, a guy walked up to me and said, Tom, you are never going to make it. He said, everybody thinks you're this rising star, but people are basically they're signing up so you'll leave. And they can't wait to get away from you. And until you stop making it about yourself and you start making it about other people and mean it, use your heart and love them, you are going to have this false success. But I promise you, it's going to end up imploding on you and blowing up. And that guy was absolutely right. I can't believe I was able to hear that tough advice, and the rest is history.
So What was the turning point? You said things were imploding. You bring people in, but they didn't do anything for the first 3 years. You're struggling. So what was the turning point? What was the event that happened that opened up your eyes that something had to change?
That guy said that. I was in a breakaway comp plan, and I was their rising star because I had this huge track record as a stockbroker, but I was spending more to get my check than my check was, trying to keep all those legs alive because it was all about me. And where the tipping point was when I finally shifted my emphasis and my agenda from Tom Chenault to the leaders that I'd brought in the business, and I became absolutely focused on their goals, even to the detriment of mine. That's when everything shifted for me, and I became interested instead of simply interesting.
Can you give an example, like an even more specific example of because I hear that a lot, focusing on others and focusing on yourself. So you gave an example of goals, but can you give it even more specific than that when you really start caring about others instead of just thinking about yourself and your check?
Yeah. That's a great question. Everybody's a soundbite, I love you, all this stuff. But until your leaders and a lot of people on your team know that your eyes are popping open at 2 o'clock in the morning thinking about their problems, until they know that, in their heart, that you really care about them and that you know what their goals are and you're driving them to their goals, not your goals, that's when things start to shift. Right now, I've got a community of leaders that are driven human beings. I know the name of the cat, the name of the dog, the name of the kids. I know what their goals are. I do everything I can to send them inspiration about getting to their goals, not my goals for them. I'm telling you, Simon, I'm in the foxhole with them.
That's very good. Very, very good. So it's about knowing the details, just really caring about people, caring people as people, and not just as distributors or leaders of someone that can help your income.
This business is not a numbers game. And the late Mark Yarnell, he talked about that 3-foot rule and you're supposed to approach and all that stuff with everybody. It might be what you're supposed to do to approach all those people. But as you approach them as human beings where you are thinking as to what you can contribute to their life, not as a prospect. So what my goal every day is to meet people, find out what's missing in their life, find out what's not missing in their life, and seeing if there's anything that I have in my bailiwick to fill that need. And most of the time, it's not my company. It's not this business. It is something more than that. All they really need is a friend or something like that. So switching my life from getting to giving has really been the difference of making it and not making it for me, Simon.
Back to the journey, I'm really excited to ask you this question is, in your 20-plus years, what is the toughest time or the worst moment for you in network marketing, to the point that you maybe even regret you did this? You hated the business, but somehow you kept going, and because you kept going, you learned some valuable lessons, and that's why you are where you are today.
On 3 different occasions, I've had companies go out of business around me or me have to leave a company, and those were the worst times. And the reason was not because of the economic loss that I was looking at. It was waking up to the fact that I had taken a majorly big group of people off a cliff yet one more time. And it is the worst feeling in the world to have a company go out of business or a company owner doing something so egregious that I had to leave. So then I had to go to the people who trusted me with their leadership, with their vision, and with their future. And I had to look them in the eye and say, look, I made a mistake. This company was not what I thought it was going to be. This leader was not the man that I thought he was. And we have to make an adjustment, and we have to make an adjustment right now. And so many of those people looked me in the eye and said, Tom, I cannot believe you did this to me. I've got mortgages. I've got car payments. I've got college tuition to pay for. And you did this, and now you're leaving. And having to look at those guys saying, yeah, well, I'm leaving. We're leaving. And you can go with me or you can't. But know that I'm sorry. and we've got to go start over. Those were the toughest days. But I'll tell you one thing that's great about this business is most people have had that happen to them in corporate America. But the beautiful thing about multi-level marketing is no matter what the company does, if you built that army and you've done your job, they're going to follow you anywhere as long as you treat that conversation with the utmost respect.
That's really good. I never heard anyone say that before. It's just like corporate America, because I know from my personal experience, I would have felt guilty to leave my company because I would have felt the same way, exactly what you share. You let people down, but you're right. People experience that throughout their corporate careers. So let me ask you, why did you go back to network marketing? You let all these people down. By then, you probably achieved some type of success. Why are you still stuck with the industry?
That is so funny that you say that. I'm a successful guy, and I think that I'm going to be successful no matter what I do. I really do believe that, whether it's real estate, whatever it is. And I'll never forget the last time this happened. We were making $45,000 per month, and we woke up the next day and it was at zero. And my wife looked and we looked at each other and we go, what are we going to do? And I said, we have no choice. There is no other profession I've seen. We could go get a job. We could do a lot of things. We could start a business. But honey, there's no profession like this profession where you can start at ground zero with a $500 investment or whatever it is and build a check to what we're capable of building a check to. We made a mistake. That doesn't mean that the profession is bad. We just chose wrong, and we've got to get back on that horse and build again, because there's no other game like this for true financial time and health freedom. And I believe that from my core, from my soul. I don't think there's any place else that I could do this. If my company tomorrow, God forbid, goes out of business, I'm age 65, I know that I could start over and build it again. And I don't know that there's many professions out there, I don't care what it is, that you could do that again. You could do that. So that's why.
Now let's share another story. Go through your past and take us to the time that you consider your proudest moment in network marketing.
My proudest moment in network marketing, they come on a regular basis. And this sounds really trite, but when I met a guy named Scott Fardulis 4 years ago in a restaurant, and he was on his back and he had this look in his eye and he was telling me about all his great successes, but I knew something was going on behind his eyes. And I called him a couple of days later and I said, I know that you told me all the wonderful things going on in your life, but I don't believe you. And something's going on with you, and I want to have a cup of coffee. So we got together, we had a cup of coffee. He got clear really what was going on with him. He had some serious health issues. He had some pain medication issues, and he had some financial issues. And today that guy has all of those things in the rearview mirror, and he has got his money turned around, his health turned around, his marriage turned around. And those are the things that are my proudest moments. All the accolades around the cars and all the stuff that I've gotten, and trainer of the year and top 25 in the world in multi-level marketing. Those are really nice, but they're kind of empty and meaningless. My job and what I commit to is helping human beings find their greatest selves. And I did that with Scott Fardulis and a few other people. And those are my proudest moments.
In your 2 decades in the profession, do you see people more open to network marketing now than before, than when you first got started?
Oh my God, I'll never forget when I told my dad, after being after being a stockbroker and a high-level stockbroker for many, many years and an airplane salesman, and I found myself doing this business, and I finally came home and I said, Dad, I've got to come out of the closet. And he goes, I always knew you were gay. And I said, Dad, I am not gay. I am a multi-level marketer. And he said, oh, I wish you were gay. That's what my dad thought about it back then, 27 years ago. And that's just almost true. But the fact is for so long, there was a terrible listening of the pyramid schemes. But now you've got Warren Buffett buying network marketing companies. You got Donald Trump owning a network marketing company. You've got Robert Kiyosaki and all those other people that have made big quotes about this profession, whether it was Jimmy Carter or Bill Gates, that nobody knows if they really said it, so I'm not going to say what they said. But this profession finally has validation. It's 1,000 times easier now than it ever was back then.
Where do you see the future? If you had like a crystal ball, where do you see network marketing headed to in the next 5-10 years?
Well, if you listen to Kiyosaki and Donald Trump and Harry S. Dent, the economist, it is not only going to be one of the bigger games in town for people that actually own their lives, it's going to be the only game in town, because it's a cash flow business with a low cost of entry that people can do while they're scrambling to keep what they're doing alive. So I think the explosion in this profession has barely even started, because the awareness is finally coming into focus, but more importantly, the need and all the economic indicators worldwide point to this thing only getting much, much bigger, which is why you see all the regulation coming at us from the FTC and places like that. They do not want to get it so out of control that it becomes rampant and dangerous. And I applaud the scrutiny, and I'm glad that we've got oversight. I know a lot of people don't believe that. We need it, but we really do, because it's going to be so big that it could get dangerous, and I don't want it to happen that way.
Now, let's shift gears. Let's talk about your radio show. You've been doing the Tom Chenault Show for over 10 years. It's the longest-running radio show about home businesses. Can you share a little bit about the show where listeners can learn more? And also, what's the vision? Why did you start that?
I started it because I wanted to be famous.
Okay, you're honest.
I thought about coming with some trivial answer, but I decided to tell you the truth. And I realized that I was a very, very small statue on a giant pedestal called that radio platform. And I'm not an internet radio show or a podcast. I am a full-blown radio show on a giant radio network. So I realized very quickly that when Art Linkletter and Tom Chenault were on the radio, or Robert Kiyosaki and Tom Chenault were on the radio, and Simon Chan and Tom Chenault were on the radio, that not only do they remember those people's names, but they would also start to remember Tom Chenault. So I started filling that radio show with content many, many years ago versus me just sitting there talking and boring people to death. So sooner or later, and I don't know when it happened, I became identified with all those big names. And that award that I won for one of the top 25 network marketers in the world is really a tribute to that, because I certainly didn't deserve that. I went out to LA to cover the announcement of who those 25 people were, and I was flabbergasted to hear my name announced. And I promise you it was because of the radio show and the reach of the radio show, not my network marketing skills. And that radio show has just basically elevated me at a level I could have never elevated myself, Simon. And I feel, and I don't ever let anybody sell anything on it. I don't let people run ads on it. I do it as a public interest show every week because I believe it's my only chance to give back to an incredible profession that has literally given me my life.
And where can people find out more about the show or listen in?
They go to thetomchenaultshow.com. thetomchenaultshow.com.
Awesome. And we'll listeners, we'll put that link in the show notes page, after which we can link directly there. Now, you talk about giving back. You do give back so much. I mean, from A&MP, that's actually how we met there. I mean, I just saw you on stage giving, and a lot of people are talking about you. But you also give back to the community with the homeless or students. What fuels your drive? Because you can give. Everyone gives, but you seem to give more than most people I know. What fuels that passion and drive?
Well, it's twofold. I mean, you can look at it as altruistic, which is great. I grew up in a family of that, but it didn't take long to figure out that the more I give, the more I get back. And so that's it. I mean, I go down and participate with the MLMIA or with Eric Worre and GoPro or with Garrett McGrath and that crew over at the ANMP and I give whenever I can. But what ends up happening is what I get back business-wise, even business-wise, is so much because people want to be around people that are givers, not takers. So somehow, and I didn't craft this image of being this giver out there. I just thought everybody was supposed to do that. And it starts in my community. We got nominated for all kinds of stuff here in Colorado because we recognize that homeless people never ever buy toiletries. When they get their check and they're going to buy food, they're going to buy alcohol, they're going to buy cigarettes, they're going to pay their rent, but they never buy toothpaste and shampoo and all that stuff. So we basically got together and created an army of people in our community, which became an army of people all over the world sending us all the toothpaste and hair products and the conditioner that they get at the hotels. And the next thing we knew, my garage at my house was filled with toiletries and things like that. And then we'd just go fill these huge bags of that stuff and go down among the homeless in Denver and in Longmont and give those bags away. And it made such a difference that I still hear from those homeless people 20 years later that we did that for them. And there's no payback for that. However, I got paid back because the universe has blessed me with this great life. It's unbelievable, Simon. So, yeah, whatever it is, the American Cancer Society Relay for Life is something. So, my whole thing, my mom died of cancer, so I'm real adamant about that. Anything to do with alcohol, drug, addiction, and the children and adults that it affects, I'm real good about that. And I just try to pay back in those areas as much as I can. And then God, for some reason, just rewards me handsomely for doing it. So it's maybe even selfish. It's even selfish, the motivation, because I can't imagine not doing it because it's helped me so much be a better person. And as you know, I don't know if you know this. This is kind of interesting. Every morning, I watched a guy named Frank Kern who said, invent the perfect day for you, like your best vacation. So I watched that video and I said, I'm going to do that. So every morning I get up in Longmont, Colorado at 6 o'clock and I take my vitamins and I walk out my door and I do a huge motivational call at 6:30 till 6:40. And it's just rah, 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 talking to tons of people about getting up and getting moving with their day. Then I walk to my AA meeting. And along the way, I pick up trash in Longmont for two reasons. One, I don't like the trash. And B, it really helps my flexibility and staying limber at age 65. And everybody thinks I'm this great guy, but I'm basically exercising too. And I get to the AA meeting and I get to help my friends. And I also check into the fact that I'm not as hip, slick, and cool as my paycheck is trying to tell me I am. I leave the AA meeting an hour later, which is 8 o'clock in the morning, and I walk down to Planet Fitness, which is another 2 miles down the road. I go through the stretching and the strength for old people circuit, and then I walk home. And all along the way, I'm listening to motivation or I'm calling my leaders. So by 10 o'clock in the morning, which is when we started this interview today, I've already talked to all my leaders. They're all tucked in so the competition can't call them. And everything is absolutely going smoothly. And I can do my day however I want now. I am free. And that's a tip that I would tell everybody to do is watch that video and I'll send it to you. And the second thing, design the perfect day for you and go do it. Because I'll tell you right now, I'm home. I've done all that already today. And I've got a smile on my face. And I can generate this day with unbelievable passion. Is that cool enough?
That is so cool. I'm such a believer in morning routines and rituals. And so you've walked 4 miles. You said you walked 2 miles to do Planet Fitness?
Oh, no. I've already got, I'm going to look at my Fitbit right now. I've already got 6.1 miles in.
That is awesome. But you say you walked 2 miles to the gym and then 2 miles back. And then
No, what I said to you was I walk a mile to the AA meeting, and I now go another 2 miles to Planet Fitness. So that's 3 out and 3 back.
That is very inspiring. That's very cool. Really, really cool. What for someone like you, what's your purpose and vision in life? What's your vision and your purpose? Why are you doing all this stuff?
It's always evolving. That is such a great question.
And I don't ask that question. I think because that's a deep question. I think that's the first time I really asked that question. But you've done so much, not just in terms of making successful business, but giving back, and you still do your AA. And I like the way it keeps you humble. So that's why I want to know, what's your vision and purpose?
My vision and purpose is and this is 1,000% true, is to have everybody I meet leave me having felt better about themselves than when they got there. And to do that, I have to have time, and I'm probably going to need some money, because most people have some circumstance going on in their life where they're going to need some help. And to be able to do that is something that is so gigantic for me. And I know that you know this. I deal with massive addiction, not only with myself, but with my children. And so my meaning in life is to try to help stop this real big wave of heroin addiction that's going on right now. I'm real committed to that. But bigger than that even, because that's kind of a sidebar, I think the average human being out there, their hope and belief in themselves, in their country, and in being alive and passionate is eroding. And my job, I really believe this, is to help lead that charge back to staying positive, taking control of our own destiny instead of letting other people dictate what our destiny is, and living as powerfully as we can, starting with each of us one day at a time. So that's kind of what it is, Simon. I read a book this year called The Surrender Experiment by a guy named Michael Singer, who's the CEO over at WebMD. And he basically said, every day is just surrendering your will to God, to let God bring that greatness of his power into your life instead of trying to manipulate the universe. And when I stopped trying to manipulate the universe, in other words, being less of a control freak and thinking I knew what God's plan was for Tom Chenault and just letting the universe open up, everything shifted, man. And I'll tell you, the last 2 years of my life have been the best 2 years of my life, because my eyes are open that just like Mother Teresa or Gandhi or Martin Luther King or any one of those people, Tom Chenault in his own way can make a big difference among the people he's around.
Hey, MLM Nation, let's prospect together and get results immediately. At our BYOB online workshops, we don't just focus on taking notes and give you more motivation or more things to learn, get a whole notebook of things and you don't even know where to start, right? I know you need a clear roadmap on how to get action and get results. Take action, get results. So these are our online workshops. You don't need to go anywhere. We just hop on Zoom and I'll teach you exactly what to say. When prospects reply back, I'll guide you word for word how to overcome the objections. And I guarantee you at the end of the session, you'll get at least one interested prospect for your business or your product and service. So it's going to be a ton of fun. And unlike most training events, right? This is not just more training. You don't get many notes, but I'll guarantee you will get results and you actually learn through by taking the action. So if you want to try it out, it's still a ton of fun. Go to mlmnation.com/BYOB. Thank you so much, Tom. As you wrap up, some really quick questions to pick your brain. So these could be really quick answers, one-sentence answers. And the first one is, what is one of your favorite success quotes that motivates you?
Holy mackerel. I would tell you, I don't have one. I can't think. My mind is frozen. I'm going to come back to it. I'm going to give you the answer to that because I want to think about it.
Okay. Aside from your morning routine, do you have another habit that's helped you become successful?
Yeah, always reach up. That is a habit that I've got. I hit a big plateau in my earnings here 2 years ago. And most people hitting that plateau would say, man, I am set for life. And all I did was go find 2 mentors that make twice as much as I make. And I called them on the phone and I said, I need to figure out how to get to where you are. Will you mentor me? They about swallowed their cigars. They said, absolutely. And that's a habit I've got, is never accepting the status quo. Because I know with twice as much money, I'm not going to buy twice as many things. I'm going to make 10 times the difference I'm making now.
What's the best piece of advice you ever received?
Don't take advice from poor people.
What's your favorite prospecting tool? So say someone is a qualified prospect, they're interested. Do you send them a link to an online video? Do you sit down with them and do a flip chart presentation, use a magazine, or do you do a webinar? What do you like to use?
I use something called the coffee shop interview. And it's a merger of Alcoholics Anonymous, personal development, and multi-level marketing. And basically what I find out is what people want to buy, and then I find out what they don't want to buy. I figure out what they love about multi-level marketing, and I figure out what they don't like about multi-level marketing. And I don't say a word until I talk to them 2 days later, and then I call them back on the phone, and I present to them what they told me they wanted to buy. And I don't talk about what they told me they didn't want to buy. And as a result of that, my success rate on my first call is in the 90%, because they told me what they were going to say yes to. And all I do is go back and present it to them in a powerful way. And they can finally see their way to building a big future in this great profession.
Wow. So you do it after the coffee shop, you do it on the phone. You basically just present it to them on the phone verbally.
I do it everywhere. I do it on the phone. I do it on webinars. I do it however I can get in front of somebody where I am one-on-one with them, where I can interview them. I'm a talk show host, so I'm a very good interviewer. And my job is to ask the smart questions and being really good at listening to the answers.
Do you have a favorite online resource like a Dropbox or Evernote, or a favorite app on your phone that you could recommend?
Evernote I love, because I can absolutely populate anything and customize a note. Like I said, I find out what they want to buy. So at the point that they tell me what they want to buy and I need to send them something in a hurry, I can pull that out of Evernote, make it look beautiful, and fire it off to them in nothing flat.
What's one book you could recommend to MLM Nation?
The one book I would tell people to read in MLM Nation would be 2 books, actually, Raising a Giant and Feeding a Giant by Bob Crisp. And even though it's 20 years old, it is the fundamentals of this business, and the fundamentals are what win the day for the average man. And we are building this business for the average man.
And then you said there was another one, aside from Raising Giants. What's the other one?
Feeding a Giant.
Oh, Feeding a Giant.
Yeah, same authors, 2 books he wrote at the same time.
Got it. I got to check that out. Thank you for referring. And MLM Nation, I know you love audio, so if you haven't already, you can get an amazing free audiobook at MLMNationBook.com. That is MLMNationBook.com. So, Tom, do you have your success quote? Did you think about it?
No, I don't.
Okay, no, never mind.
I forgot about it. We're going to have to worry about it another day.
Okay.
Like I said, I'm not the smartest tack in the box, Simon.
Oh, so here's the last question. The $1 million question. You ready?
Yeah.
Here's the $1 million question. Imagine you had to start all over again and you knew no one. So you didn't even know your wife, you didn't know your kids, grandkids, zero. So you're kind of like an alien that went to another planet and they spoke English. But you had all your current knowledge, skills, and wisdom. What's the first thing you would do to find prospects, or the first place you go to find prospects and build an MLM business from scratch?
I'd go to Eric Worre's wall and I would start instituting and initiating conversation with network marketers as fast as I could, because he's got a wall full of generic leads that are all saying, I love Eric. That's where I'd go. I'd go to his wall because there's so many people, and I would just start figuring out people I had things in common with, and I'd find some network marketers to start dialogue with and get going. That would it just being laser straight, and Eric Worre might not even be that happy to hear that. You know what? Here's the deal. 100 product users are going to find you 1 or 2 good business builders. That's the stat. 100 business builders are going to find you 10,000 product users. And if I had to start over tomorrow, I have to go with that ratio. I can't go with the 2 out of 100. I've got to go with the network marketers that are out there looking for me.
So I just repeat that. That's really good. No one's ever said that. 100 product users will give you 1 to 2 business builders, right? And 100 business builders will give you 1,000 product users.
No, 100. Then I misspoke that. 100 business builders will give you 10,000 product users.
10,000. Got it.
Yeah, just think about it. Go back the other direction. Yeah. If you've got a company and you get a hold of a Tom Chenault and I fall in love with you, I'm going to find you 100 product users tomorrow.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's the way I would rather go. So when I go fishing in the business builder pond because I know that I'm also going to get product users. But sometimes when you're fishing in that product user pond, you don't really catch many business builders.
Hey, I love your answer to that question because it's really no BS, no hype. I mean, I'm sure it's kind of like the elephant in the room that no one wants to address. And you're the first one, honest and very direct. You know, you're going to find where the people are. So thank you so much, Tom, for your time. As we wrap up, any last words of advice? And then what's the best way our listeners can connect with you and learn about you and your show?
Okay, I would go to thetomchenaultshow.com because then you're going to get that coffee shop interview I talked about. You're going to get my phone number. So the name of the game is spelling Chenault right, which is TOMCHENAULT.com. And the advice I would give you is wait for no one. Your upline's not going to do it for you. Your company's not going to do it for you. Tom Chenault's not going to do it for you. All of those people will do it with you. But grab the bull by the horns. And the way that you do that is to get your belief level in this so much that you're like me. I know that I can go put $500 up and turn it into $1 million income. And if you truly have that belief like I have, you will stop at nothing to fulfill that. So that's my advice I would give you.
MLM Nation, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And today, you've been hanging out with Tom Chenault. So keep up the momentum and go to MLMNation.net and type in Tom, T-O-M, in the search bar and the show notes and Tom's contact info. The link to the show will be right there. In order to be successful in network marketing, you must help others. So, Tom, thanks again for sharing your valuable time with MLM Nation. We're grateful to you, and we appreciate you for having a positive impact on millions of distributors worldwide. Tom, thank you so much again, and God bless you.
I love you, Simon. See you later, baby. Bye-bye.
Hey, MLM Nation. I would love to prospect together with you and also help guide you on what to say, how to reply back to your prospects so that you can get your next customer or rep this week. You want to know how? Just go to purposedrivennetworkers.com. Again, that's www.purposedrivennetworkers.com. Hey, MLM Nation, this is Simon Chen. I'm back here for a quick recap and review, and that was a very super inspiring training sharing from Tom Chenault, a super awesome guy. I just like how he's very direct and frank too. He's such a giver. Make sure you go to MLMNation.net. Just search for Tom, and you see his last name Chenault, Chenault. You see the link. Go check out his radio show. What he's been doing. This is the longest running home business show on the radio. Check that out, and also connect with Tom. He's been such a giver. You know, the first time I met Tom, heard about him, our team does a lot of research of top earners. We reached out to him. And again, people are busy. And like I said, it took me 18 months to get him. So worth it. And then we met at the ANMP, which is, again, it's an event you definitely should check out. Just go to ANMP.com. It's a generic training event. It's Association Network Marketing Professionals where you see all these leaders give. And Tom really played a huge role. He was the founder at the charity auction. He was also the auctioneer. Just an awesome, funny guy. Really cool guy. And so definitely reach out to him. See some aha moments, right? There's so many big things from that show. First of all, it doesn't build your belief. It's like he was an alcoholic, a drunk. He couldn't get a job, nowhere. And he saw the ad, and the ad says like, no criminal records checked or something like that. And he's like, he chose network marketing because there's nowhere else to go. That was his only hope. And I think that's what's awesome about this profession, right? Even when he went from $45,000 a month to 0, he still has the confidence. This is the best profession. And it's so true. People have asked me, like, even when I was struggling, I was making stuck. When I say struggling, I was making some income, right? I was stuck at the $25,000 a year range. And I was like, people ask me, you've been doing this for 3 years, Simon. Like, you haven't hit your big moment yet. And by the way, I hit my 6 figures by like the 3rd and a half, 4th year in the business. But for a long time, I was stuck at the 20,000 range. It's like, what are you going to do? And I said, well, for someone like me, I don't have a graduate degree or anything. I don't have any special skills. For me to earn like $250,000, $1 million, what else am I going to do? Right? I don't have money to start a traditional business. I don't have any business skills. Network marketing is it. And so there may be skills you need to learn, the mindset, you got to change yourself, but this business is possible. And it's just so cool to hear people from Tom. One of the things I love about Tom is his confidence. He said, I'm a successful guy, right? He talks about the mindset. 99% of his business, all mindset. He sees himself successful. And he's going to go out there and make it happen. And in terms of vision, he said MLM is going to be the only game in town. That's why you see the FTC starts cracking it. Why is FTC giving attention? I mean, you may have heard about, we had the episode of Kevin Thompson in terms of FTC cracking down and, emphasis on the products are important. It comes down to because it's getting bigger. If network marketing wasn't getting bigger, who would care? The FTC got other things to do, right? There's other stuff to go. The reason they're cracking down, I think it's awesome for the profession, just not only just to protect the profession, but also because it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. I think one of the, getting back to the show, I'm going to just keep out, I'll keep this quick and short. Big success tip is your morning routine and how you can design a perfect day. Everyone you have a decision and also the ability to make today the best day of your life. Every day I wake up saying, today is going to be the best day of my life. Why? Because I can do things I've never done before. Like when I woke up today, I say, today's going to be the best day of my life. Why? Because I'm going to talk to Tom Chanel. I'm going to do interviews with MLM Nation. I'm going to talk to leaders I've never talked to before. I'm going to hear Tom's story. I've never done it before, right? Most people, they live in the past. And here's a tip too. Instead of saying this was a bad day, why does it have to be a bad day? What do you have to wait till when you go to sleep and the next day to reset and make it a day? How come you can't say this was a bad minute? Or bad hour, bad second, or bad 30 seconds? And most people, they live, right? They let something happens to them, they let it affect them for lives, years, maybe their entire lives. Some people, maybe you're a little bit better, maybe a year. I had a bad year. Why does it have to be a bad year? Why do you have to wait to a calendar year? By the way, time is all relative anyway. What is a year? It's just a man invention, right? Why do you have to wait till I had a bad week, a bad month, a bad quarter? Make it just, hey, I had a bad 10 seconds. The next 10 seconds, everything's going to be great. So you can design your perfect day. And the important thing is start off well. Like he starts with a motivational call. And one of the best ways to get fired up yourself is to fire other people up. He does a 10-minute motivation call, rah, rah, call. I'm telling you, just like motivating you guys all out there doing this show and giving, I'm getting fired up. As you can tell from my voice, I'm probably speaking louder and faster right now, right? Motivate. He motivates. He goes to his AA meeting, walking, right? He picks up trash and giving, always looking to serve in the community, right? Then he walks to the gym, walks back home. And when we did this interview, it was 10 a.m. and he walked 6 miles and accomplished more than most people have done in an entire day. And no matter what he does, he starts over when he's talking to his leaders and all that. So in anything, morning routines and then planning it out, routines, extremely important, extremely important. And, I could talk about Tom being a giver and all that, and that's why I asked him that question about the purpose and vision. Just inspiring. Like, it's just inspiring. He says, everyone I meet, I want to leave them better than when we first met. That is deep and cool. Well, Tom, you're listening to this, you definitely left me better than when we started this show about an hour ago. So thank you. Thank you for that. Last thing is you always, two other things, always reaching up. No matter what type of success you are, you always got to find someone to mentor, coach you. You always got to reach up. Like if you're the smartest person, the most successful person, you're stuck. You're not going anywhere. It was really humbling for Tom. Like when he was earning great income already, he actually reached out to people who were earning double, 3 times as much to reach out to him. So really, really inspiring. And the last thing is 100 product builders, 100 product users will give you 1 or 2 business builders. but 100 business builders will give you 10,000 product users. That is really leveraging what this business is about. So thanks, Tom Chenault. Again, go to MLMnation.net. This is one of my favorite shows, episodes. Just also is no BS. I just love his personality. He asks him, why did you start a radio show? He says, not to give back, because he wanted to be famous. You know, you got to appreciate that honesty. Really, really, really cool dude. Definitely connect with him on Facebook. Go to the show notes page, MLMnation.net. Just search for Tom. Connect with him, Tom Chenault. And if you like this, please subscribe, rate, and review it on iTunes. And share this episode. This is super inspiring for someone with a big vision, big purpose, big heart, giving back, paying it forward. And that's what this profession, that's what makes me loud and proud to be in network marketing. MLM Nation, thanks for listening. This is Simon Chan. And remember, we're in the profession to help others. So go out there, be like Tom Chenault, and have a positive impact on someone's life today. God bless you all.
Thank you so much for joining us today on MLM Nation. Head over to MLMnation.net for full recaps of every show, our training articles, and helpful resources. Your MLM success is waiting for you. So prepare to take off.